All right. Good morning, boys and girls. Today we are going to be talking about word form of our numbers. So we are going to be taking the standard form of our numbers and we are going to convert it into word form. So what is standard form? Well, standard form is just the way that we normally write our numbers using only digits or numbers. It's the regular way that we write down numbers. Word form is how we say the number out loud, or how we would write numbers out on paper. For instance, if you're writing a check to someone and you need to write out the total amount, you would write it out in word form as well as standard form. So this is a very important skill to have so that you can exchange money when you're older. So if we take a look at this example, we have 3,976,729. Here is the word form version of that. 3,976,729. I will break that down step by step as to how I got that. So remember, each comma represents a period. We learned about that when we were talking about place values. A period is a grouping of 3 digits. We say the numbers before the comma as a whole number, then we say the name of that particular period. So let's look at an example. So if I'm going to label these periods, I'm going to go ahead and start all the way from the right. I'm going to put a decimal point. Remember, even if a decimal isn't written there, when we're dealing with whole numbers, there's always, I call it a ghost decimal or an invisible decimal that always lives there. So we have our ones place value, tens, hundreds, and then we move into the thousands period. That first comma is our thousands period. So we have our thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. Now we're going to be moving into our millions. And in this case, we have our millions, 10 millions. We then would have 100 millions. Then we'd move into our billions place value and period. So as I'm reading my numbers out loud, I'm actually going to start from the left and work my way to the right, just like you do when you're reading a book. We read from left to right. So if we start from the left, we're going to go ahead and take a look at this period right here. I have 83. I'm going to say that as a whole number. So that's 83 million. I'm going to go ahead and look at the next set of 3 numbers. 142. Now I've gotten to a comma, thousand. So I'm going to name that period. That's our thousands period. And then we're going to finish off 395. So let's look at a couple examples. I'm going to go ahead and put in a decimal point all the way at the right. So I have my ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000. So again, I know when I get to this comma, I'm going to be writing the word thousand. So I have 49 is leading up to my comma. So I'll go ahead and write that out. 49. I've gotten to the comma, so I'm going to name that period. 49,000. 826. Now remember, we hyphenate numbers, or 2-digit numbers. We call them compound numbers. I want you to refer back to your word form graphic organizer that we filled out together. So 49 would be hyphenated because it's a number that's larger than 20 and less than 99, and it's a compound number because it has 2 pieces to it, 40 and 9. Same thing with 26. We'll go ahead and hyphenate that as well. Let's look at our next example, which is a little bit bigger. I'm going to start all the way from the right and just label. I'm just going to say my place values out loud. I've got my ones, tens, hundreds. Now I'm entering into my thousands period. So I have my thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. Now I'm moving into my millions. So I'm going to say this as a whole number. I've got 5. This is my millions. So this is 5 million. I'm going to say this as a whole number, this next set of 3 digits, 298. I've gotten to another comma, so I'm going to name that period. So that's 298,572.